spirits animate these vessels. This is a poem that I had written. Oh. Yo, what's up? Thank you for clicking on the video. What do you mean? But they're about to get to know me. Okay. So, I'm gonna let Brian speak really quick before I'm able to get into what I had to say. You ready?
Aye, Captain!
Okay. Alright, 1 second. So I thought it'd be more appropriate if I were to explain what's about to go on, but essentially I'm the one who's been conducting the experiments. Agent Lee Tono here had been broadcasted, had been sent down essentially to take over the rest of the mission. So we've been essentially developing him for the last few years, I'd say, just to get him ready for the platform. We've had some interesting results. He's been shy away, been scared essentially to present himself because some of the people who have known him in his past life will either demonize him, either will insult him, at the least not understand what it is that's happening. He was tired of playing the boring role, essentially. There's a boring role that he was tired of playing, and he had told me that he wanted to play another role per se, and I was advising him. I was like, you do have to be aware of how humans function, and that he'd have to understand that moving forward down this path, it's gonna be arduous, it's not gonna be easy, but if that is what you seek to do, you want a different role, by all means, I'll be here to guide you and assist you. Reason why I want to take over, we have 10 minutes of broadcasting. I'm aware, I want just 10 minutes of broadcasting time. I don't want to take too much of your time, but I'm the one essentially who's been documenting. I mean, there's the laptop as well, but I'm the one who's essentially been documenting. Wow. I'm sorry, this girl is just gorgeous. This girl's gorgeous. Wow. Toronto girls, right? Toronto girls, but we're the ones who've essentially been documenting this experience, this lifestyle, this journey onto planet Earth. I do understand that the journey is a part of explaining all of this. You know, I like going to it and then just speaking about the research and the conclusion essentially from the experimentation that we've gathered. But essentially this is just the introduction, so I can't bomb you guys with too much information because you guys are gonna clock out. I understand. John, wait up. Give me a second. I just want to make an introduction. It's funny because some people might be aware of this vessel gone by the name Brian. Funny enough, for those who don't know, Brian is actually this vessel's middle name. Could you imagine reading a book, but you've only been reading it from the middle part? You started reading the book from the middle, you did not get the introduction. Essentially, this vessel's middle name is Brian. To have to adapt essentially to this climate. So it's the first time that we essentially in general have been deployed in the Western world. Of all of our lineage, we're the first one who's been deployed into the Western world. So we thought that it'd be easier to acclimatize to their social conditions, social conditioning, quote unquote, if we were to give him a Gaelic, Roman, Proto-European name, right? So that's why we were given the name Brian. Essentially means to be noble. But I mean, I'm pretty sure you want to take over at this point, right? I feel like I've done my work here. I'm going to present the information later down the road. Just have to remind myself that this is just the introduction. I do get a bit ahead myself. I do get excited a bit, but I'm just going to give it back to Lee Tono here, and he can go in a bit more and explain what it is essentially that this is. Thank you for the intro, Brian. I'm just trying to adjust this. Is it okay? I think so. I mean, so those of you wondering what the what was that? I mean, yes. Patience. We are getting there. We're getting there. So essentially, Brian Lee Tono. So Lee Tono is actually my first name.
Yep.
Been playing a role character that's pretty boring. I was like, I don't feel like playing that character anymore. But then Brian here, as he's telling me, he's more of the logical, rational side, more of the creative, random, chaotic side, more so. And he's been telling me, he's like, you know, going down this path and this road. A lot of people are gonna think you're crazy. A lot of people are gonna be like, what the fuck is he doing? Who the fuck does he think he is? I've always been this person, but I've always been behind the shadows, essentially. I've always been watching, observing, studying how humans behave. Right, I've been sent down here essentially for a mission, and I've been running away from that mission for the longest time until my father, he just sat me down and he was like, I've been telling you to do this for the longest time, and you're still telling me you fear what these quote unquote mortals, these low beings, you're more worried about what they would think about you than what I've already bestowed upon you. No, like, true, you're right. You're right, Dad. You're right. My bad. I realized that I need to divulge the whole history, essentially, right? When we do the public interviews as well, that's just like a research method, just to at least be able to run the hypothesis and questions that we've had about humans. Now it's just going into the field and documenting that essentially as well. But this portion of it is more so going to be the documentation of reality as we see it. So briefly, eternal, light to knowledge. It's what it symbolizes, the name. It's more so of a title. Names or titles. Names have power. Many are called, chosen a few. Powers have great responsibilities. You can't abuse them, etc., etc., etc. Right? We'll all come to learn this along the journey. But just a quick side note, if you have not done inner work, if you have not started working on yourself, past traumas, etc., you don't have an open mind, a lot of the information presented on this channel will not resonate with you. That's just the honest truth. You have to be able to step outside of the box, essentially. So be able to conceptualize new ideas without your defense mechanism shutting you off from being able to even conceptualize these things. This is just essentially to share certain spiritually, psychologically experiences, plant certain seeds, so that once you come across certain experiences, you'll be able to cross-reference them to other people's experience, and you'll be able to determine whether it's factual or not for yourself. We live in the age of technology, so to be able to meet like-minded individuals, to be able to find people who are on the same wavelength, I have to place myself out there. This is meant for the people who are on the same frequency and wavelength, so that we can come across one another and do the work that we're meant to do, so that we can you'll just witness the process. Essentially, this is the intro that I have to remind myself, or else I'll just keep on going. I'll lose the original point. Spirits animate these vessels. So as I've been saying, I've been behind the back of the scene, you know, playing the roles a bit. This is the quick introduction to this character here. So I did want to leave this off with, this is a poem that I had written. Oh! That's one of the first time that Eternal had woken up. Eternal, light to knowledge, and bringing the light and breaking it down, what it is I am witnessing or channeling or receiving. You have to realize there's some people from past lifetimes who actually, I'm just gonna let the journey speak for itself. Make sure to subscribe because there's a lot to come down the road. Thank you for watching, and welcome to the show.